Play for you what John Kerry said back in 1971 when he returned from Vietnam and he joined with other Vietnam veterans to talk about the kind of war they had experienced. Here's what he said.
Not isolated incidents, but crimes committed on a day-to-day basis with a full awareness of officers at all levels of command. It's impossible to describe to you the feelings of the men who are reliving their experiences in Vietnam. But they did. They relived the absolute horror of what this country, in a sense, made them do. They told the stories of times that they had personally raped, cut off ears, cut off heads, taped wires from portable telephones to human genitals and turned up the power, cut off limbs, blown up bodies, randomly shot at civilians, razed villages in a fashion reminiscent of Genghis Khan, shot cattle and dogs for fun, poisoned food stocks, and generally ravaged the countryside of South Vietnam.
All these years later, this book you've been working on for 10 years, based upon these documents buried at the National Archives, confirm what John Kerry was saying then.
Yes, all the atrocities that Kerry mentions by name there. I found evidence of all of those types of crimes represented in the records of this Vietnam War Crimes Working Group in the government's own files. So at the same time that Kerry and the veterans that he was referring to there were being smeared as fake veterans or as liars, the military had all these records that prove that these were just the very crimes that were going on in Vietnam.
And the military had these records in 2004 when John Kerry was being swift-boated.
That's right. These records existed then. There was proof at the time that the military, they knew about it and they didn't disclose it to the public, and it was still under wraps when he was running. I mean, the military definitely didn't want these records out there. I talked to several members of this Vietnam War Crimes Working Group, this Pentagon Task Force, and I asked one of the colonels who he ended up retiring as a general. And he said that at the time he thought it was right, that these records needed to be kept secret. It was for the good of the country, for the good of the war effort. But in the years since, he recognized that he thought it was the wrong thing to do. I talked to him during the Iraq War, and he said, perhaps if these things had been aired at the time, if we had been honest with the American people and open with these records, then maybe we wouldn't have had Abu Ghraib, the torture scandal there. He came to see it as a real failing on his part.